Well, hello again. I'm Andy from Ballymurray Baptist Church, and I want to thank you just for taking a few moments to listen to what will be my final story from this little book that I've been advertising over the last few weeks entitled Real Lives, which is written by Dorothy Carswell and is published by 10 of those publishing. Now, one of the key criterion for every story that has been included in this book is the fact that everyone at the time of writing was still alive. And that means that our final character this evening can also be included, even though he was born about 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ, because he is still alive today. So I want to remind you just for a few moments about the greatest man to ever live and the greatest story to ever be told. Now, if you want to read about the life of Jesus Christ on the earth, then you can pick any one of 4 biographies in the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. And as you read these biographies, you'll discover that Jesus was born into extreme poverty and also relative obscurity. And as a child, he actually became a refugee whenever his family had to flee to the land of Egypt. He received no formal education. He never went to school as young children and young people would. He never went to university to get a degree, nothing like that at all. He grew up in a very insignificant little town called Nazareth. He worked as a carpenter, making wooden things. He never wrote a book. He never composed a song. And his public ministry lasted little more than 3 years. But during those 3 years, he displayed the unique power and authority of God alone, as he made the blind see, and the deaf hear, and the mute to speak, and the lame to walk, and even the dead to live again. And more than that, Jesus spoke with an authority that no one had ever seen before. The people recognized this whenever they listened to Jesus teach them. No one has ever spoken like this man, they said. He had authority, you see, whenever he taught. And he gave to the world, in his teaching and by his living, the highest possible moral standard. You see, Jesus was unlike other men. Jesus truly practiced what he preached. He gave dignity to women. He gave respect to the disabled. He gave significance to children. He gave credibility to the family. He gave status to every individual. He even gave the assurance of the forgiveness of sins and the hope of eternal life to anyone who would dare to believe in him and follow him. How was all this made possible? Well, there are many verses in the Bible which can teach us how this was possible for people like you and I. But let me quote you one, which says, "Christ died for sins once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God." Jesus was nailed to a cross. Jesus was punished in our place so that people like you and I might receive forgiveness. He died. But 3 days later, God raised him to life again, to a life where he will never die, an everlasting life. And for over 40 days, almost 6 weeks, he appeared to hundreds of people, proving to them that he truly was alive. And at the end of that period of 40 days, he ascended back into heaven to the place that he'd come from all those years before. Millions down through the centuries have been set free by him and followed him as his disciples. Millions today are experiencing being set free from the burden and the guilt of their sins. in order that they might follow him. And they're doing so on every continent of the world. Real people whose real lives have been changed by Jesus. Allow me to read the final few words of Dorothy Carswell's book. She writes, "The stories in this book could only have been written if the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ were true. Real people have discovered real lives through Jesus Christ. You can also experience the freedom and the forgiveness of Christ. If you call out to him in prayer, he will come to live in your life, giving you a relationship with God that will last through life, death, and into eternity. As many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God." And so today, you can discover this for yourself.